Rumor has it.
Call out a name, or you gossiping, or you chatty patty.
I'm gossiping.
This is the Rumor Report.
I mean, I guess we on the Breakfast Club. This is where the tea spills, right?
Right. On the Breakfast Club.
Now, Nas, who is on Swiss Beats' new album, and they got a new single called Runaway. Shout out to Swiss Beats. I think he's going to be joining us this week. Now, in celebration of hip-hop's 50th anniversary, Swiss Beats is dropping an album, or I should say an EP. He dropped it a couple days ago.
Friday.
And he has Nas on it, and Nas talks about being a bad father.
Probably was a bad father to my firstborn, love her to death, but I ain't been home since my first song provided.
And we all go through that. I never feel like I'm getting it right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, me too. You know, at times it's like, you know, your kids have games, but you also have things that you have to do, and it's a balancing act, and you try to balance this as best that you can, but you do realize that sometimes when you offer the financial stuff, so they don't have to pay for college, and they get the best schooling and the best this and the best that, sometimes that means you might miss a game, or you might miss a recital or something like that.
That's just part of it. Like, I'm talking about, like, the time, right? Like, that's what you're speaking of, too, but I'm talking about, like, the just projecting your own insecurities and anxieties onto your children, projecting your own traumas onto your kid. You know, that's like the hardest part, I believe. Yeah. And you know, there's no manual to being a father or a mother, even though there's a million books written about it. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think everybody's situation is different. You can't follow anybody's one thing, but you know, it's like you said, there are a zillion and one books, but everybody's situation is different.
That's right. So none of us ever feel like we got it all the way right. And when you start having more kids, you know, I guarantee you the youngest get treated way different than the older did. You know? Yeah,
because you're trying to figure it out, the first child and the second child.
I know that. My oldest is 14. And she tells us all the time the differences she sees.
Absolutely. Yeah,
and the way we raise the younger ones as opposed to her. So imagine.
Shout out to my wife, Gia. We are actually writing a book, Real Life, Real Family, where we talk about raising our children at different steps. You know, we got one that's 21 and then we have one that's 1. So it comes out next year. It's gonna be very interesting. And like you said, it's you kind of learn from the first one.
Absolutely, it's on the job training
and what not to do.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, oldest.
Yeah. Now Cardi B. Now, according to allhiphop.com, they obtained legal documents that show that Cardi B has given the right to start seizing property owned by Tasha K. So
that's what happens if you sue somebody and they can't pay you. Then you can start garnishing their wages. You can start seizing their property, their assets.
So it looks like that's what she's going to do. If you don't remember, she was awarded nearly $3 million in damages and attorney fees, and at 1.25 plus 1.25. So she's going to be able to get some of that money. I guess they're going to start seizing properties, bank accounts, and all that stuff. Cardi B ain't stopping. She wants all her bread.
Yeah, and I hope that other people on YouTube learn from this, because all it takes is somebody who has the time, you know, and the money, and sometimes being aware, because a lot of times you're not even aware of 95% of the things that are being said about you on the internet. But if something comes across your desk that's absolutely not true in any way, shape, or form, you punch that person in the mouth. Quick, fast, in a hurry. You know, that's why you got to respect those cease and desist when you get them. Okay?
No, you're right.
You get those cease and desist, they're laying out everything that you saying that's wrong. Keep it up, see what happens.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're getting your property seized.
And that goes to any media outlet. You know, sometimes, you know, you let that pride hurt you, but if you got it wrong or you got it wrong, just say, yo, my bad, I did it wrong, I said it wrong. This is the real story. People do it they do retractions all day long.
I promise you them clicks and likes ain't worth it.
No.
I don't care how many times you done said subscribe now. I don't care how many times somebody done donated $1 to what you doing. You don't want these kind of problems.
Not $4 million problem. Nope.
You don't want them.
Now, lastly, Jamil Hill talks about JayZ with Jason Lee, of course, on the Jason Lee show. They talk about the partnership with the NFL and if it benefited the culture.
You look at that partnership with JayZ and the NFL. What do you think?
I didn't love it. You know, I mean, I was critical of it, obviously. I have a lot of respect for JayZ. I know what he's done for culture. And you know, I feel like I always have to qualify because I know how dearly our culture holds him, as they should, and respect and reverence to him, and obviously Beyonce too. And I know what he was probably thinking. But you're dealing with a different group of people here in the sense of like, they needed the access to the culture. That Super Bowl halftime show was on life support. Nobody was with that show at all. And as soon as he aligned, he gave them access to something they didn't deserve.
Well, guess what? I haven't seen an alternative. You know, folks had so much to say about the partnership, but nobody offered an alternative. You know, and it's bigger than the Super Bowl halftime show. Think about how many community organizations, how many organizations these NFL players have that have gotten money directly from Inspire Change, and how many communities have been bettered because of it.
Right.
Like, it's bigger than just a halftime show. Salute to Jamel, though. That's the homie.
All right, and that is your rumor report. Now, Charlamagne, who you giving that down to?
Man, 4 after the hour, we need to talk to this guy named Jorge Diaz Vega. When I tell you that he's out here committing prehistoric crimes, I didn't even know people still did this, but we'll talk about it 4 after the hour.
All right, we'll get to that next, so don't move. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.